Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I am your host, Joe. Joining as usual, Cole. How are you doing?
Well, now I'm mad because I had a good idea and I spoiled it on the pre-show, and now we're on the regular show and I don't have a good idea anymore.
I mean, you could have used the same one. No one would have spoiled it.
No, it's ruined, Joe. You don't understand. You only get to tell a joke like that at one time, one good time, and then it's done for and it's ruined for the rest of the show. Just like the show when Jacob signs on to the call, and you're just like, well, it's already ruined now.
But Jacob's here.
Hi, Jacob.
So you just had your mom's spaghetti moment?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Anyway,
Now
we
I'm
had a
just
good
full of
idea
petty
because we routinely have one good idea when we have interviews, which means we have an interview.
Most of the time it's don't let Jacob on the show. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, we forgot about that one today. But joining us
One
once
good
again
idea.
from Mommy's Best Games, Nathan Fouts. How are you doing?
Hey everybody, I'm doing awesome.
Welcome back. How have you been?
Pretty good. Exciting personal news. I am now a little kid soccer coach.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know anything about soccer. So it's like
they just
100%.
let anybody coach soccer because
It's awesome.
my oldest is volunteering and coaching a team this year, and she's only 17. They were like, you have to have volunteer hours to graduate, and she's like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And they're like, I don't know. You want to coach some 8-year-olds? And she's like, sure. And so they go, okay, here's your whole team of 8-year-olds.
Oh gosh, exactly. It's my son is why I'm doing it. And so he's 10 and I've got like 17 other kids and I'm just going 100% Ted Lasso. I got the A-OK from my wife and I'm growing out a big bushy mustache. So I look really stupid.
Beautiful.
It's awesson. Yeah.
I should go get a fake mustache for
You should. It's so
and then
fun.
she can show up at practice and be like, then nobody'd see it because she wears a mask, but it would like stick out from the edges just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then everybody's
Why wear a fake one when you can just use your real one, Cole?
Shots fired.
She doesn't have a mustache yet. She has youth.
No, I said you.
Well, but I'm not the coach. She is. Pay attention,
What's
Jacob.
the girl name?
God
What's the girl name
damn.
for Ted? What's the girl name of, like, instead of Ted Lasso, what would it be? Is it Theodora?
Theodora.
Theodora? Yeah,
Theodora.
Real name.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Anyway, so I'm in Indiana.
Yes, it is. Huh.
It's about 95 degrees when we're doing the practice, so it's a little hot.
A
but
little.
because
Jesus.
It's insane.
That
Actually, I moved
sounds
it back.
awful.
I moved it back to like 6:30, so it was maybe 93.
Oh, okay, that's
but honestly,
much better.
we had a cloud coming in, so yeah, cloud cover, and it was great. So yeah, we had fun. It was fun.
We had a
So anyway.
cloud come.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Anyway, that's normal everyday life, and then also games and stuff. So how about you guys?
Oh, we never get asked how we're doing.
How are you all doing? I don't know. Yeah.
No, I'm doing good. We
now.
recently celebrated our 700th show.
Bro.
That is a lot.
We're still doing this shit.
So the show's called Someone Might Listen. At 700 shows, you're kind of just playing the odds. Like somebody probably has listened at some point, right?
Some point in time, someone may have listened. I mean, we have
sure a
views
lot.
on YouTube, not many, but we got a couple.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
There's a few episodes that have double digits.
Yeah, I know. That's impressive.
And then you throw it in a spreadsheet and you add it all up and you got some views.
And we're at triple digits.
The double digits may be from the times where like I left it on loop because I was trying to be nice.
And YouTube says, "Are you still listening?"
I don't think it does. It just goes, doesn't it? Like, I've
just
left it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I've left it. Just mute it and walk off and be like, "Bye, girl."
YouTube's just like YouTube's just like, we know we're never sending Joe a check, so we'll just let him. We'll just let him think he's going to monetize this thing.
Yeah.
No, we'll never reach the hours viewed to meet monetization.
That's brutal.
Because no one listens.
Well, I think the people that do listen mostly on Twitch.
Twitch, and apparently we have like 200 subscribers via RSS feed.
Nice. That's solid.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. We're at 199. I just checked earlier today.
Who still uses RSS feeds?
Podcasts,
the audience,
the iTunes and Spotify, and
the wonderful audience.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I thought those things like stopped being used like a decade ago.
No, that's the reason why I post on Tumblr is for the RSS feed, so that the show can be posted on iTunes and Spotify.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm old and grumpy, so don't take away all the old, clunky things.
I know, that's why I still use Skype.
Yeah.
I'm old and grumpy.
Oh my gosh. And clunky. Skype, what happened to Skype the other day? I tried to use it on another call, and Space Jam was jumping all over my Skype, trying to tell me how to use emoticons. It was really stupid.
Microsoft has a deal.
Oh my gosh. I know, apparently. It was pretty awful. But anyway, tonight it behaved. So I don't know what happened. Like maybe Space Jam bombed or something and they gave up.
They knew that you were coming on. So they're like, all right, we'll give them a break.
Very nice. Very nice.
So anyway, you are on to chat about a game. You're releasing a new game next week.
That's right. September 2nd. I believe it's a Thursday. We're going to do Weapon of Choice DX, the deluxe remastered version of Weapon of Choice, our first indie game.
So for the people who don't know what Weapon of Choice is, give us the sales pitch. What is this game?
Sure. It is a short and sweet run and gun. Each play session is only about 10 minutes, maybe 15. But there's 4 unique endings to discover and 7 difficulty settings and several different levels, too, to find. Some of them there's branching paths and different characters unlocked. So it's a short game with a lot of breadth. So you can play it, get to an ending, find some guys, rescue save the day, but then you can actually replay it another time, take a different path, fight some new monsters, and maybe save another character.
Yeah, I made it through all 4 paths. At first, I thought there were only 3. So when I found that 4th one...
The nice hidden path.
That was fucking hilarious.
That is the joke ending. If anybody's played Contra Hardcore, this is not as hard as that game at all. This is an easier game. It's an easier run and gun game.
Oh, this is definitely a very approachable game, which I appreciate very much.
Yes. There are 7, like I said, there are 7 difficulty settings, so you can crank it up for sure and make it pretty tough. But in Contra Hardcore, the old game on the Sega Genesis is one of my favorites. They have a path. They have branching paths in that game as well, which I love, and that's why I did it in Weapon of Choice. But there's an ending in Contra Hardcore you can get in about 2.5 levels. And it's basically the joke ending as well. Basically, you go to the junkyard, and I think before you go to the boss, you climb up this wall, and then all of a sudden you're fighting this literal circus of insane bosses. It's hilarious. So we have we basically have a joke ending in the game as well in Weapon of Choice, if you can find it. A little bit hidden, but pretty much Joe fell into it, we'll say.
See what you did there.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Jacob, why did you say, oh no?
So there's a ladybug that's been like flying around my room, and I'm pretty sure it just fell into my tea.
I thought you were going to say something related to the game. Nope.
Well, I'm kind of curious because I did get to play it a little bit, and like you're like, ooh, the hidden ending, and it's like I think I stumbled on it, but I'm not sure. But it's just like everyone's like not talking about it, so I don't know whether I can talk about it.
The hidden ending's in the desert. We can say that.
Okay, all right.
Did you find the desert?
I accidentally found it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to. It's kind of like it's a joke because the hidden ending is a joke because if you look at the game, it's actually kind of subtle. There's no infinite deaths in pits in Weapon of Choice DX. And it's kind of weird. Like, if you think about it, in Contra, you can definitely fall off and die instantly in plenty of pits in a lot of games. But there's no deaths in pits in this game. So in the one level that could have happened, I was like, oh, whoa, what if we actually send you somewhere else? So that's why we did that.
That was a pretty weird moment. I enjoyed it, but I was just like, that was actually the very first ending I unlocked.
Mine too, and I was so confused. And then I did it again, and I was like, "Oh, I have moved."
So what's interesting is, go ahead, Jacob.
Just as an update, the ladybug did not fall into my tea and is now back to flying around the room again.
Yay!
So, for all those who were worried,
Tea is safe, thank God.
So that means you guys went to the left in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, so that was another crazy thing we did in the game. If you play an old run and gun, you can almost never go left.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, oh, you know what? This will be cool. Why don't we just, if you happen to, let you go left? Like you know, Metroid aside, but like if you're looking at, you know, Contra, Gunstar Heroes, those kind of classics, you just go to the right. Turrican, you know. So I put a spin on that there as well.
See, modern games tend to like throw in an achievement where you're like, go left, and then it tells you can't do that. And so now my instinct is, oh, this is a run and gun. Go left. Every time.
I'm so glad.
Almost always an achievement.
I'm so glad that is like rubbed off, because I've done that for years. I have always checked left. I've brought it up on the show all the time. Anytime I can in a game, I'll check left just because I'm always curious to see if someone put anything there, because the tradition is to go right. So there's an
interesting mental aspect to why we always go right, by the way, because that's the most common dominant hand. And when people don't know which way to go, your brain will instinctively tell you to go the way of your dominant hand. So if you're left-handed, you will instinctively go left. And if you are right-handed, you will instinctively go right. But games have conditioned us to go one way or the other in certain genres.
I'm not going to lie. The only reason why I even fell down the pit is because I had shot down an enemy and I saw it like go down, and I was just like, that's an awfully long like pit. And then like because of the spider mechanic thing, which I thought was really cool. You know, so now I can climb on like ceilings and walls and all that kind of crap. I was just like, oh, well, I'll test it out with this thing. And then boom, I'm in the desert. I'm like, what the shit is this? So
my instinct is just to try to break shit. And when I come across something new, I'm like, can I break it?
Well, that's
and so I was trying to break it.
That's what I thought was happening, because like the first like bit of text almost makes it sound like a glitch, and you're greeted by Wilfred Brimley again. And you know, God bless him, you know, but but yeah, that was definitely a weird moment.
I think I actually did find a glitch in the game.
Oh yeah,
I did the left path. And I got to the ending, and after the ending, it respawned me back in the stage, and I couldn't leave.
Huh.
And like I endlessly fell into a pit over and over.
Okay, well, you've got a special achievement.
I fucked something up. I pulled a Cole.
Definitely tested the game a lot. I haven't seen that happen, so that's pretty cool.
I should have taken a video of it or something. I didn't even think to at the time.
All I gotta do is just pop some new achievements for that, and everybody's good, right? If I can detect when that happens.
Everybody loves new achievements.
Lady Magritte says it's a feature.
Yeah, there you go.
Should have put a pie there. Could have found that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, in the DX version, this is in the Steam version as well, but in the DX version, we now have little collectible Mommy's Best Games pies hidden about the game. And it keeps track of them pretty well on the front of the title screen. And it actually keeps track of them across the difficulties as well. So that was just another little kind of, if you've beaten the game and don't want to tackle the harder difficulties, you can try for achievements and also look for the collectibles. So...
some of the achievements are going to be tough too. Like the one for doing runs and only killing bosses.
It's going to be hard.
I don't know how I'm going to pull that off.
Yeah, that's a tough one. My favorite achievement is beat a level in like a minute or something, or a minute and a half. That one's just speed running a level is pretty fun.
I think my quickest was like a minute 40 something.
Close.
Yeah.
Well, the main guy's Xerxes with the jet engine gun, the silliest gun ever. He's really good for that one because you can, if you hold down the alt fire, basically you get a bigger jet and you can jump and fly pretty fast. It just makes it really reckless. But that's what's fun with that. Fun about it.
So what led to bringing this game back? You said it was your first game. What led to bringing this one back after your other re-releases?
Well, we first did the remaster for Shoot 'Em Up DX, the Shoot 'Em Up that you play all your ships in. Then we did Explosionade DX, which is the little mech game that could, the little bubble bouncing mech game. And all those are on all consoles. And this was the original one that we released back in 2008. And it has like a hand-drawn pencil on paper art style. A lot of people say it looks like crazy dragon drawings on the back of your Trapper Keeper or something, like kind of silly stuff you draw in high school. The art style does. So that one made the perfect sense to use the AI to up-res it to 4K so that it looks nice on modern TVs. And actually, that game is so old. And you guys say,
how old is it?
Exactly. Yes. That game is so old.
How old is it?
I released an indie game in 4:3 aspect ratio.
Oh, Jesus.
I made that game on a standard def TV when I developed it. That's what we had. It was 2008. HD TVs were coming, like flat screens and stuff were coming around. Yeah. But we had one in the house. And that was our normal TV. And so for dev, I just had I had an SD TV sitting around. So I worked on that. And so, that's in 4:3. So one of the other big things about the reissue on Steam and on the DX version for consoles is it's finally in 16:9. And I did not cheap out with the pictures on the sides, right?
Yeah, you have a full picture there. It's no borders, nothing like that. You didn't take the easy way out. 60 frames a second, 16:9, and I basically rebalanced all the levels and everything to accommodate it and also to play better. So, yeah, it was some work. I mean, we didn't just, I love cash grab. I love a cash grab. I could have just farted it out.
I don't know, because you made achievements that are hard, so I'm not sold on loving the cash grab element here.
I'm saying I didn't go for a cash grab. I should have. We could have done a crappier job. Let's just say that. I could have hit compile on Unity or something like that and been done with it. But I don't know. I like all my games to feel good and like to be respectable and like be able to talk to you guys about it and feel good about myself when I tell everybody to go buy it, because otherwise if I just did a straight compile, it'd been a little lame. You guys would have been like, hey, so what's up? And I'd be like, I don't know, did you like that old game I made? Go get it, all right? Shut up.
I mean, Nintendo does it, so
yeah.
Exactly.
That's
I don't personally love
stuff.
I mean, I like it when somebody does an old game and it has save states. Like, that's awesome. When they clean up an old game and it's more playable now, that's very cool. But
what all did you do to enhance? Like, how did you get the visuals enhanced in 4K, and how did you, like, for the 16:9 aspect, did you zoom in and chop off the top and bottom, or did you naturally stretch out the sides of the camera?
So I worked with the guys I've been working with before on our remasters. They're called Super Soul, and they live over in Lexington, Kentucky. And they're really good at Unity, and they're really good at tech. And so it's been a great partnership because I kind of just keep doing the game dev, the making stuff, and they've been helping me port it. So what they do is they have a very nice XNA engine running in Unity. And XNA was the old Microsoft system that we first made this game with back on the Xbox Live Indie Games channel and all that stuff, community games. So they got that system running in Unity. And the amazing part is they got it running at 60 frames a second, at as high a resolution as we can go, 1920 by 1080 or, 4K, whatever matches. And, they like some of my code is pretty bad. Like the collision, I wrote my own collision, which I'm proud of, and it works great, but it's not super fast. So they had to, enhance that, which is cool. It was, the enhancements they did to it to get it to 60 frames is awesome. So what's funny is, this used to be running on the Xbox 360, and it's not, it was running at basically 30 frames a second when I first launched it. So now we're at 60, and there's actual Boolean codes like Boolean values I have in my code for the bosses, and it just flicks a switch and it checks the frame rate. It already did this a long time ago, and it's like if the frame rate's bad, it would make the health in the boss about half, so that the fight wouldn't drag on forever.
Huh.
And that was just when I played it on the old version on hardware on the Xbox 360, I was just trying to balance the game and make it fun. And so I was just like, oh, you know what I mean? This is like a slog. I hate when boss fights go on forever. So, Dark Souls excluded, I love it. But anyway, I was just like, come on, let's just wrap this up. For a running gun, for a shooter, I wanted it to be a little bit snappier. So yeah, the frame rate if it would dip down to like 20 or 30, the fight would actually end a little sooner just for enjoyment's sake. So now we're locked at 60, and I actually had to crank up a bunch of, basically every boss in the game has 40% more health, 30, and it's all a little bit harder too. The whole game's a little bit harder than the original version, because it's nice and smooth, and it just flows a lot better, and it feels good. It feels good to have a little bit tougher. So yeah, the 60 was tough, and then I used the AI upraising system to check the textures. I did not redraw them. It would have been nice, but it would have been a lot of art. Oh, yeah. So we up-resed all the textures. So they're all pretty high-res. And the funny thing about nostalgia, thank you. The funny thing about nostalgia is, I think you guys know this, you remember it better looking than things were. Like all old games. So it used to look fine, but if I had not up-resed it, it would have looked much worse. You know what I mean? Like when you put it on a new TV, now you look at it and you go, yeah, it looks fine. But we don't know how good we have it basically with the upraising. It's just, let's just put it this way. It worked perfectly fine. It wasn't, I know I play it up, but it was work for us to do, but I'm glad I did it because otherwise it would not have been as fun to look at. So yeah,
it's a party to look at. Some of the enemy designs in this game are pretty warped.
Thank you.
Which is par for the course.
Which one of your favorites?
Your game.
What's one of your wackier favorites that you saw in there?
I can't say. The hidden boss.
You like
which boss?
The hidden boss.
Oh, okay.
I love the art style of that fight. Just the whole design of it. It felt so trippy. It was awesome.
Yeah, perfect. Cole, you got any kind of disgusting, cool looking bosses in there you liked?
The one that stands out to me is basically the one with the giant memory glands. That was the one that that I kept getting tripped up on and just had to look at forever. And I'm like, I have a love-hate relationship with you.
Thank you. I'm glad you pointed that out. That one is specifically in the game as sort of the showstopper. I put it in the very first level. I want to do something as crazy as I possibly can, and you're gonna laugh when you hear the name for it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's painful. The name of that one is the Teat Walker. So yeah, giant cat litters.
That's beautiful.
All I kept thinking was how am I gonna say that it's the boss with the giant tits?
They're cat litters. But yes.
That's not even really a boss, is it? You could just skip that.
No, that's what's so fun about it. You can climb on it.
Yeah, I was all over that thing just because I kept getting hooked to it as I was trying to move around, and I was like, I don't know how to get the giant boobs off my screen.
So you can actually kill that thing. You don't have to, but you can. It's kind of hard to figure out, but yeah, it's cool that you got it. So yeah, the spider pack is automatic. If you jump up and touch things, you'll get attached to things. But it should be pretty intuitive. You can kind of just move around, and then if you pull down, you can detach from it. So it usually should work pretty well.
It definitely was intuitive, and for somebody who sucks at run and gun games, I found it to be incredibly helpful. So
awesome.
Well, here's the part where I confess that I am an avowed button masher, and then I just kind of kept getting stuck and was like, "Well, that's what I'm doing. It's just bouncing all around this enemy."
Well, so the other thing we added to the game that, like Joe said, to make it more approachable, is the death brushing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the automatic thing that if you're about to die, everything slows down and you get a chance to avoid death. Did that help?
It did.
Okay, good.
It did when it happened, yeah. There was only one time I died, so.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
No,
so basically,
I died a lot, but it saved me a few times. So
there's settings in there.
Die less.
Yeah. There's settings in there you can turn it off and make it much harder. So, but exactly. So that's the default for that game is it's not supposed to be a hard game. It's supposed to be, kind of like a old timer retro game, like for people like me, which is
that you come back to and replay all the time.
Yeah. And then I play when I'm tired. I play at the end of the night. You know what I mean? And some games I want to have a challenge, and some games I don't. And so, if you want an old retro style game where you can kind of just ease through it, this is it. But you can still, crank it up too. So
yeah, you have 7 difficulty levels? You said.
Yeah, and the finale has to be suicide bullets. So when you kill enemies, they send out a bullet. It's really mean. That's a classic shoot 'em up move. That's just awful. Yeah. But you can play it. I mean, it just makes it's pretty tough.
I kind of found myself falling into that roguelike trap with it, where I'm like, just a little more. I just need to play just a little more, and then I can quit for the night. And then I'd be like, no, a little more. And then I'd get a little further, and I'd die because I'm bad. And then I'd be like, yeah, but I could just go a little more. And I'd do it again. And then before I know it, it'd be 4 a.m.
No. Have you rescued any guys in it yet? Any guys and gals?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
I at least rescued some because I was killing a lot.
So every time you rescue, there's I think 4 unlockable characters, and every time you rescue one of them, it's essentially an extra life. Mm-hmm. So that'll help you too. It's not a roguelike, you know what I mean? Like it's all handmade, but like you said, in roguelikes, in the light ones, if you play enough, you can kind of get some help sometimes, like new unlocks. And so in this game, if you can rescue somebody, it basically gives you an extra life and probably a little bit extra oomph to get through the game.
Yeah. Now, I didn't get to test it enough to find out this answer for myself, so I'll ask you now. All right, so let's say I'm playing at a level, my first guy dies, I have to choose a new person, but then I already have an operative on my back, and then I run into the guy who recently just kicked the bucket. If I just leave my first guy there and I keep carrying the operative that I was carrying previously, when I finish the level, does that first operative, are they still available, or did I actually have to rescue that guy just to keep him in my roster?
Okay, so clearly I should have consulted with Jacob and made the hardcore mode. The hardcore mode would have been like that. That is nuts. It would have been like world static mode. You know what I mean? Like whatever you do is whatever it is. But no, we played it a little bit more friendly. So what happens is you start with 3 unique characters, and those are your 3 lives, right? Okay. There's 4 other unique characters in the game, and once you pick them up and actually get them out of one level, they are now permanently unlocked in the game. So they won't. And so if you have to make them the horrible choice, which is dude on your back or new character, I'm sorry, dude on my back, but new character is going to have to be
new character.
New character. I'm grabbing him. So the guy on your back, you lost him. He is now dead for that run. But he'll be available next time. Yeah. Okay. So we kept it fairly hardcore, which is you left him. Like you left a life in the level. You could have retrieved a life, but he's gone. But yeah, he's still unlocked in the when you reset.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And he's locked forever. Fuck you. Left him behind.
Oh,
you horrible person. You left him behind.
I make them say little sad things too whenever, you know what I mean, when you pick them up and stuff. You can actually run back and forth. By the way, Jacob, like if you pick up one, and then you go back and forth, you can keep trading them out until you pick the one you like.
I did because they kept saying stuff like, don't leave me. I always loved you. And like all this other kind of stuff. And I was just like, man, which one do I take? And just to be safe, I always kept taking like the person who had just died. Like just because like I wasn't sure how this was going to play out.
So. That's a good question. Yeah. I love it at the end of a big boss fight. I'll have like 3 guys stacked up and dead, and they're all calling for help. And then you got to leave the level. Well, you can save one of them, but I'm sorry, the rest of you guys. But yeah.
I cheaped out and I played on easy, and I think the only boss fight that I really struggled with and lost a bunch of people on was I guess the default ending, the ground monster with the eyeballs that you got to take out.
Is he so big you're inside him?
And then you drop down into it, yeah.
Yes.
That boss was trippy.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's. I wanted that to be the most epic one, basically, in the game, in a sense. Like I tried to make all the end bosses pretty big, pretty crazy. Yeah.
Mission accomplished, I would say.
Thanks.
So what's next for you? What's going on with Mommy's Best Games? Anything new in the works, or are you about to take it easy now that you've got this one out?
Well, this one comes out next week, but believe it or not, I've been working on a brand new one for about 2 years now.
Oh.
And I haven't been able to say anything about it, like what it is or anything like that. Basically, it's like so brutal out there for, promoting. And I guess I'm just like gun shy, and I'm just like, okay, this one has to be like perfect, rock solid before I announce it, I feel like. And then I'll feel good about like basically getting the art to look really good. And so I'm just moving along on that still. Can't say much about it, but I'm moving along on that to make it look as pretty and as cool as possible, and then eventually get to announce it.
Carnage is saying, can you say the genre at least? How about an SML world exclusive?
World premiere.
We can say it's an action shooting game. I don't even want to go any further than that. It's going to be a shooting game. It's what I do.
Pew.
You can pew pew. Let's just say it's what I do well. And it's probably the most polished, and it's probably one of the most polished things I've done yet. So pretty excited about it.
Crazy hand-drawn bosses.
You bet. Yep.
That's, I would expect nothing else.
Thank you.
And here I was hoping for a football romance simulator. Damn it.
Either way, we were going to get some tits.
I'll have to see. I don't know if there's any boobs in this one yet. The game's not done yet.
The matter of time.
You still got time.
Yeah. I can see about a hidden ending or something.
Oh Jesus!
If you control a W, you can change the game.
So Cole, what was your good idea from earlier?
I had a good idea earlier.
Yeah, the one you bitched about at the start of the show.
The juggler.
Oh, yeah. Well, we made a comment about the jugular, and then
I'm supposed to say it, but I'm dumb. And when I was younger, I thought it was the juggler vein.
The one time the redneck says things right. But the good idea was that if you thought of it as a juggler instead of a jugular, then it would be really cool to have a boss with like a bulging vein that had like the little pins being juggled inside of it. And then that's your weak point that you gotta hit.
Not gonna lie, you said bulging vein and I wasn't sure where you were gonna go with that.
Nobody said it had to be on the neck.
Oh, gross. All right, you guys are making your own game now.
We have scared off the guest.
I think there's a setting on Steam for this.
Aki would know about that. Oh, man. Well, I know we've been chatting for a while about the game. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that we didn't bring up?
No, that's awesome. I appreciate you guys having me on. And it's coming out PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch coming out next week. So anybody's up for Easygoing retro run and gun, nice and short, fun, but with lots of different options. Go for it.
How much is it going to run?
$5.99.
$5.99. Damn, man, that's cheap.
I mean, I think it's a good balance. Probably 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. You get some, and then you got plenty of like collectible replay. So it's up to the player. But thanks. I try to balance it.
Plus $5.99 heads me off at the pass of me bitching about how much it costs. So and being a cheap ass. So
yeah, there you go.
Jacob is a cheap ass.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh man, Jacob, Cole, did either of you have any other questions you want to ask?
No, now I'm just mentally image of a jugular with pins in it, but on a dick.
Of course, on a dick.
I have a stack of crazy monster drawings over there. None of them are of that, so you beat me, Cole. You can doodle that one up for your next creation.
Cole, you're gonna have to doodle that for.
I mean, it's not like it wouldn't be the first time. I have a whole comic book plan, or not comic, but a coloring book that I've been working on for years. That's just dicks in little costumes.
What was that thing oh my gosh, what was that thing on Nintendo with their platform where you could doodle and share messages and stuff?
Oh, Picto Chat.
Yeah, did they have the that check, dick check?
Dick
you know what
chat.
I mean? I mean, like, didn't they have to worry about that all the time or not?
Well, that 100% sounds like it would have had dicks on it.
Picto Chat was just local only, so it was just you and whoever was nearby in the lobby sharing pictures.
I thought there was a thing where you could post pictures and stuff to more people. I really thought there was something like that.
I thought Penny Arcade had a comic about that. I don't remember though.
They shut the system down, I know, but I could have sworn there was like a more.
Oh, there might have been on the 3DS or on the.
There's that new Switch game that comes with a stylus, and I can 100% guarantee you somebody's drawn a dick on it as soon as they opened it. I would have.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know. You could jump on that and start drawing.
Yeah, Picto Chat we affectionately called Dicto Chat because of how many dick drawings we would send each other on that during parties or conventions.
Yeah.
Man, good times.
Good times.
Well, Nathan, we will let you get going. Thank you so much for joining us. It is always a pleasure having you on the show. Give us one more sales pitch on the game and where we can get it and how much it is and where people can keep up to date with you.
I'm on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube as Mommy's Best Games. You can get Weapon of Choice DX, Shoot One Up DX, and Explosion A DX all on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One Series X, Xbox One Regular? I don't know what that one's called. And then Nintendo Switch, it's $5.99. And they're, check out my retro shooting games. I appreciate it, guys.
Good stuff. Always good having you on. Have yourself a wonderful night, and we will talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, and we can move on. How's everyone doing? Ready for news?
I'm melting.
You're melting? Aw.
It's hot.
Tough shit.
I keep turning up the fan every time I mute, and then I have to reach over and turn it back down before I unmute.
Get an air conditioner. Come on.
I have one. It just sounds like a jet plane. And so, out of respect for the show...
You've never had respect for the show.
Turn it off. Well, you're right, because if I did, I would have been like, don't ever invite Jacob back after the first time.
Oh,
you weren't even on the show when I was first on the show.
Very true. He was on way before you.
Well, you know what? I made it to co-host before he did, so hey.
Burn.
I don't think he ever asked me to be. Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
You never had time, Jacob. You're like, I have a family. And I have
school. I have work.
Yeah.
Priority of adult things.
Fucking adulthood. Anyway, so Games with Gold for September were announced.
Uh-huh.
Good stuff.
I'm pretty excited about that.
There's a good lineup. Xbox One is getting Warhammer Chaos Bane.
Hell yeah.
Which really fun game. And as far as I could tell, it's only the Xbox One version, not the Series X and S version.
Are they separated?
Yes, they're separated. Yeah. And then Mulaka.
That's a good one.
Which, if you all recall, I reviewed. Nobody recalls.
No, I don't recall.
Well, I did.
I reviewed that. What are you talking about?
No, man, I reviewed Laka. Uh-oh. That was before Joe was sending me the write-ups. Shit. That was really early. Yeah. No, because that was one of my first Xbox One games I had to review.
Huh. Maybe I wrote about it then, but I remember playing and reviewing it.
Either that or else Joe handed me a free code and, hooked me up to a speak and spell. And,
I don't know. Now I'm looking at the episode. Jacob Garner reviews Mulaka, an action-adventure based on the Tarahumara from Lienzo. Yeah,
maybe I just typed in and interrupted and shit.
Maybe.
That is
what you do much remember playing it and reviewing it.
It's a solid game, so I'm excited that everyone else now gets to experience it if you were too cheap to purchase it before. So now you get it for free.
We could do that.
Indeed, other stuff we're getting for free on the 360. I'm excited about this one. Zone of the Enders HD Collection.
Hell yeah. Means
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know. It costs like $20 still over at Walmart. So 30?
30 digital.
Oh, well, 20 physical over at Walmart. So there you go.
It's good that
now you're saving it. Now you're saving at least $20.
Yeah. I'm excited that I'm going to be able to get it digital for free because I don't have that one digital. Yay! And then Samurai Showdown 2, which is probably the weakest game of the month.
What? Oh, eat a dick. No way, man.
It's a $9 arcade game.
So what? It's a totally solid fighting game, and it's a ton of fucking fun. Yeah, that ain't the weakest game.
What's the weakest then?
You're the weakest game. But I don't know.
So Xbox announced that Xbox Cloud Gaming will be hitting the Xbox One and Series X and S this fall.
That's awesome.
Yeah, cloud gaming on console. They're touting the ability to accept game invites and test out games instantly without the need to download anything, which is pretty goddamn cool.
Yeah. That means that even if you haven't been able to upgrade, you're still going to be able to place exclusives for the Series X, like the Medium and Flight Sim and
stuff that's on Game Pass at least.
Yeah, but that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. I am looking forward to that. Something else I'm looking forward to is Halo Infinite. They finally announced a release date. December 8th. And they're not going to have campaign co-op. Yeah. Campaign co-op and Forge for Halo Infinite are delayed until post-launch in order to get the game out for holiday.
Yeah.
Maybe fucking wait then.
Yeah. In related news, I have announced that I'm delaying my purchase until campaign co-op is in. Because that's how I play the Halo games. Campaign co-op. That's what I do.
All right. First off, you know that's a lie. You're going to get whatever limited edition version that they release of it. And second, if you weren't, then you were just going to play it through Game Pass anyway. So
I don't know if they're even doing a collector's edition of the game. They announced
console, I know that.
A Halo-themed Series X for $549 and a Halo-themed Elite 2 controller for $199. And as far as I could tell, both are completely sold out. Shocker, right?
No, well, shit. I guess I definitely won't get that then.
What, the Halo one? No, you're probably not getting one.
Yeah, I was kind of, I was hoping a little bit, because, I mean, that's what my Xbox 360 was. I was very smart and went for the 20 gig Halo edition one instead of the 120 Xbox Elite that they had out at the time. Very, which also had the new chip that prevented red rings. So, I made a very smart investment, especially when it red ringed 2 years later.
Yeah, proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, it doesn't look like they've announced any kind of limited edition version of the game. That's weird.
I'm guessing because it's not really a complete game at launch. I mean, unfortunately they're still charging $60 for the campaign. I don't know if it's going to be worth $60. The fact that there's no co-op really sours it for me. The multiplayer, of course, is going to be a free-to-play experience. But
what the fuck is the point? Like, just wait till co-op then. Good lord. Yeah, I'm very thankful I have Game Pass.
Yeah. Anyway, in other console news, Horizon Forbidden West is going to be releasing February 18th, 2022 on the PS5.
And on PC.
And on PS4.
And on PC.
Is it
When's
on
PC?
I don't know when
it's coming
PC
out
is.
on PC, but I don't know what day.
I don't know.
Because if it's on PC, I'd be like, happy birthday me, because it'll be right after my birthday. Otherwise, it's like, fuck off, I don't give a fuck.
Well, then you probably... See, Aki's like, it's coming to PC. I think you're spreading false information.
I would never do such a thing. I am a journalist of integrity. Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West PC release 2021. That can't be right.
No. Zero Dawn is on PC, but Forbidden West.
I know, but this says Forbidden West is 2021. But then it also says February 18th, 2022. So like Google just hasn't updated their shit.
I don't think it's releasing on PC on launch.
Okay, it's not. According to this one, it's not.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sure it's
So
console
then I don't
only.
give a fuck anymore. It doesn't exist. What Horizon sequel that doesn't exist?
Okay, well, Horizon
They should
Zero
do that.
Dawn also got a 60 frame per second update on the PS5 to go with the news of the Forbidden West release date. So that's cool.
I already had that.
No, you didn't. Your computer's blue screening. You didn't have shit.
I had it when I played the game.
You
'cause
didn't
it wasn't
have
blue
shit because your
screen when I
computer's blue
played the
screening.
game. It's
Console
yeah.
master race.
I'm about to send David all the way to Ohio tomorrow to get me a new graphics card.
Oh,
And it won't
Jesus.
be blue screening after that.
I thought you said it was the hard drive.
I thought it was.
And then you thought it was first you thought it was the RAM, then it was the hard drive. Now it's the graphics card.
I don't know what it is, but I wanted a new graphics card anyway, so might as well,
Jesus.
right? We're just playing. Like I bought new fans, and I'm gonna buy.
So
new
you're
RAM
just
when
building a
I
new
start
computer at this
playing.
point.
Well, it'll have the same motherboard.
Oh man, a new title update for Assassin's Creed Odyssey added 60 frames per second support on Series X and S and PS5.
Very nice. That looked lovely.
That is good shit. It was announced during Gamescom opening night that Saints Row is getting a full-on reboot.
Yeah. Okay.
I watched the trailer. I'm not sold, and I love Saints Row.
I missed this trailer. I
I'm,
did. So I don't know. But I'm also moot on Saints Row. Like I played the third, and I played it with Student. And I had a good time, but it's not something that I would like actively seek out to play if I had other choices.
I thought 3 and 4 were pretty fun. I mean, I didn't finish either of them, but I'll be honest. In terms of, gameplay, whatever. I don't. It's a GTA clone as far as I'm concerned. But it's just like in terms of plot, Saints Row 4 was so fucking all over the place with everything. And I mean, like fighting off an alien invasion with a giant dildo. I mean, it just. Where the hell do you go from there?
It was amazing.
Oh no, I'm not saying it wasn't. But it's just like it just kept building and building and building in terms of ridiculousness, and it's just where do you really go from there? And so I'm okay with this. I don't even know if you want to call it a soft reboot, but it looks like it's going back more towards like Saints Row 2.
Now, this looks to be a hard reboot, not a soft reboot. This looks to be like full-on whole new universe. As far as I could tell, there's no relation at all to the current Saints Row games from what I saw in the trailer.
I'll be honest, I couldn't remember if they called it Saints Row 5 or if it was just
Saints Row.
Okay, then yeah, it's a hard reboot.
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with that. Like,
I don't know. I wish they would have just given it a new name. I don't know. I don't like rebooting it and having all new characters in it. I don't know.
Right. But then if they just call it a new name and all that kind of stuff, then they're letting their intellectual property just like fall by the wayside. And I know that they're going to look at it with their investors and be like, "Oh, you can't do that. We need a new Saints Row game. When's that coming out?" Like, so I'm kind of whatever. Like, I'm optimistic.
No, we don't have long to wait. It's coming out February 25th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC. So it's just early next year. We'll find out. We'll see if it's good. The Wild at Heart will be releasing on PS4 and Switch later this year with physical releases as well.
Yeah, enjoy the game.
Good stuff. WWE 2K22 will be releasing in March 2020. It will have new controls, a redesigned engine.
Wait, what?
WWE 2K22 will be releasing in March of 2022.
Oh, okay. You said 2020 the first time, and I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yes, it's releasing 2 years ago.
Well, it's so far ahead of its time.
Yeah. It's going to have, it's probably going to feel like it released 2 years ago. It's going to have new controls, a redesigned engine, and, quote, stunning graphics with more info to come in January. With all the supposed bad feelings between 2K and WWE, I don't have high hopes for this.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's what they said last time. Oh, yeah, new graphics, new controls. Oh, and we're just going to cancel it because it sucks.
They're saying I did say 2020. Oh, well, whatever. I say so many numbers that I fucking...
See, Joe, I listened to you. I listened to
you.
For
once. Jesus. Oh, my Lord. Anyway, Ziggurat Interactive is going to be bringing Enclave to the Switch, Xbox One, and PS4 this fall. I'm the only one who cares about that, apparently.
I was trying to think of like what that is, and I was like, all I could think of was that game that got canned like a while ago called Evolve. Yeah, I don't know.
No, this is original Xbox game, like a kind of Skyrim, or not Skyrim-ish, but like Morrowind-ish RPG.
Oh. I'm glad you're excited about it.
Yeah. That's all that matters, is that I care.
Yeah,
because I'm the host.
It's just one of those things that I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I have no opinion whatsoever.
Good shit. Drinkbox Studios announced that their new game, Nobody Saves the World, will be releasing in early 2022 for Xbox and Windows 10 and will be on Game Pass at launch.
Yay, Game Pass.
And they're going to have a online co-op.
Ah.
Yeah. Good stuff there too. Humble announced during Gamescom that all of their upcoming releases, day one Game Pass.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
The titles they announced were Archvale, Bushiden, Chinatown Detective Agency, Dodgeball Academia, which is out already, Flynn, Son of Crimson, Midnight Fight Express, Next Space Rebels, Signalis, Unpacking, and Unsighted. All of them day one Game Pass. I think that is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
Now save me a lot of money.
Going, is Xbox about to buy up Humble Bundle?
Oh shit, maybe.
Oh no.
Buy it off. Who owns it? IGN? Are they the ones who own Humble now?
I'm not sure.
I forget who it is.
I thought they were.
I don't know. Last bit of news I have is Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX will be releasing December 9th on Switch, Steam, and iDevices. So that's coming to America.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one too. So good time.
I'm happy for you.
And that's all that matters. What news do you have, Cole?
Moonglow Bay was given an official release date, but now I only remember that it was in October 7th. So that one, and it's coming to Game Pass. If you missed out on that one. But it was shown during the Wholesome Games Direct at E3, and it is adorable voxel fishing, and I am very much looking forward to it. I don't even like voxel games, and I'm still looking forward to it, so that should tell you something. Yeah, October 7th for that one. And that's it. I didn't pay attention.
That's all you got?
No, I watched the whole, nobody wants to hear me talk about Call of Duty. Every time I be like, oh yeah, Call of Duty, you guys boo me, so Call of Duty got it that out of your system. And yeah, that's all I cared about.
Cool. Jacob, what do you have?
So a mysterious, a previously unknown Game & Watch was discovered at Yahoo Auction. It's pretty much just, it came in a regular retail Donkey Kong box, but on the top plate, it has an illustration of 3 men along with a commemorative note about Nintendo having sold 20 million Game & Watch devices. It's believed that there may only be 3 of these in existence, but, we don't know. So pretty much what happened is that some online site tried to get it, but they were outbid, and they have no idea who got it. Some people think Nintendo actually purchased it for their upcoming museum. So
that'd be interesting.
That's kind of cool. Yeah. World of Warships is getting some heat right now because they had a promo code that had an intentional "fuck you" in it. The code actually said FKU Turi, who is apparently some sort of Twitch streamer who left, who stopped streaming World of Warships after a bit. They've suspended that employee, and they've now released a new bonus code that says Turi, we are sorry.
Aww.
And in some kind of fucked up news, Fortnite has added a interactive, and this isn't the part that's fucked up. This is kind of cool, even though it's really bizarre, and I don't know how well it actually fits in Fortnite. But they've added a virtual Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Museum within Fortnite. So you can watch speeches and learn about Dr. King's legacy. However, to get to this area, you obviously, you have to transport or warp into it, however the hell Fortnite works. I don't know. I'm 36. I'm old. I don't somebody has to preach you my food. I don't understand things. But anyway, so pretty much what's happening is that you have to go by a loading screen, and the loading screen gives tips on, how to do stuff in Fortnite.
Okay, come on.
Well, pretty much.
You're dragging this out so much for Fortnite.
Sorry, but pretty much it's just it's having tips like aim for the head, and headshots do significant damage, which, if you recall, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, so that's not great. Yeah. And I'm kind of wondering how that passed through, with Epic, but maybe they'll fix it. Hopefully,
maybe we'll see. Aki's that's not even something worth mentioning. I love how Aki just shits on you.
Well.
Anyway, ready for reviews?
Yep.
I guess.
Really helpful that everyone is super into the
fan back down. It was hot.
Everyone is just super into this show tonight
because he should have perked up and said something when I took a long time, but no.
Why is it always my responsibility to pick up after your failures?
The air gap. Read the room or the Skype call or however you want to say it.
I can't read.
Clearly, sometimes I'm concerned about how you manage to remember to breathe.
First game to talk about tonight is called Madden NFL 22, developed by Tiburon, published by Electronic Arts, released August 20th on Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Stadia for $59.99, Series X and S and PS5 for $69.99. Madden NFL 22 is where game day happens. Jacob, tell us about your time with Madden NFL 22.
Wait, hold on. I'm leading off on this? I thought you were.
No, you're leading off.
Oh, crap. Okay.
That means he ain't played it.
Yes, I played it. I have achievements or an achievement, whatever. I played it. Anyway, so Madden, for those who aren't aware, it is the long-running football game where you play football of the NFL. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, if you haven't heard of Madden at this point, I don't know what to tell you. And
fair point. Fair point.
So, since last time that I really played it, which was about 2007, so that was kind of interesting hopping back into this after about 15 years.
It's like a whole new experience after you've been away for that long.
I'll be honest. I mean, like I was really confused with like the avatar guy. Like I think they actually call it my avatar. Because like there used to be like a creative player thing, and I don't remember it being this involved. And like pretty much you just pop them into your favorite team. Like you can upgrade them, level them up and all that other kind of stuff by having them do all these plays and earning experience. Which I didn't really dabble that much into because I needed to know how the gameplay actually worked compared to back in the day. Which, to be honest, once for somebody who hasn't played this game for like 15 years, once I figured out which button, all I needed was to change my player. I was right back in it. I'm glad that is as much like if you've played Madden once in your life, it's pick up and play. Like
yeah, it's easy to get back into.
Yeah, and honestly, holy crap! Like the graphics are amazing on this thing. Everything just felt right. Like the controls, like everything was easy to get done. I mean, occasionally I still like mess up and stuff like that, but it's just like winning felt awesome. Like leading my team like felt great. My only issue with it is that way back like 06, 07, you would be able to go through your playbook and like, of course, Madden recommends like, we think you should do this. Like these have your best chances of stuff. Back then you used to be able to just be like, fuck the playbook. Like I want to see all of the different plays that I could do beyond what you're recommending me. And the game was like, okay, yeah, you could do that. This one, it's just like, all right, here's your plays. If you don't like them, fuck you.
Press up and down.
Well, no, I know that. But all right, so my specific example is fourth quarter, 2 minutes on the clock. I'm totally whipping the shit out of the Eagles, like as the Steelers should. and the game will not let me do any passing plays. It just absolutely refuses to let me do passing plays, even though like I've got like a good 60 yards to get to the end zone. It just will not let me do like it will only let me do running plays. And back in the day, I used to be able to be like, no, screw you. I want to toss a Hail Mary or like whatever. The game's just like, nope, you're doing running plays. You're going to run down the clock whether you like it or not.
There's definitely options to pick pass plays because I picked pass plays.
It literally would not let me.
Like I know there's options to go through the full playbook using, I believe, the bumpers to go through the different options at the top.
Yes.
One of them allows you to go through past plays that you've done, which maybe this is a next gen only feature that it has, like your history of plays that you're able to go back through and select, and it allows you to browse the whole playbook.
I don't know, or like maybe it was maybe it was version specific. I feel like I should doubt that, but the thing is that like the game literally told me there are no passing plays that you can play right now. Like it literally had a message for me on that. So
yeah, I didn't run into that at all, so I don't know why you ran it. That's weird. Maybe it's because of the difficulty you were on. I know I played the game on arcade version. I think you said you played on what, competitive?
I played on simulation.
Simulation. All right.
Because I'm not a bitch.
Well, I prefer my sports games to be arcade style. And what I love about this game is that they have a full-on arcade difficulty where it reduces or nearly eliminates penalties. It prevents you from...
There's no penalties and injuries. Yeah.
Yeah, it prevents you from going offside, so you can't just like break rules like that. It keeps the game moving and it keeps the game flowing well. And I blew out fucking, who was I playing? It was the Steelers against, I don't even remember who it was. Was I telling you, Jacob?
Yeah, you were. I'm going to see if I can.
The final score was fucking 91-10. It might have been the Eagles. That'd be great if it was the Eagles. We both just beat the shit out of the Eagles.
As they deserve it.
Oh my god!
All you told me was that I still can't believe I won the game 91-10.
Yeah, that was pretty fun to just blow. And the fucking touchdown that I gave up was like a fluke 95-yard run play that all my guys missed on, and they ran it all the way.
Yeah, you were playing the Eagles. Steelers are destroying the Eagles in my game. Yeah, that's what you said. Okay, cool. Yeah, so
we both just beat the shit out of the Eagle.
Again, as they deserve it. Now, I didn't get a chance to check out multiplayer. I'll be honest, I'm personally not too big on it. But I also wanted to make sure that, I had a good handle on, gameplay, just on the off chance that, this game threw some new curves for people who haven't played in forever. That being said, I thought it was a little odd that it starts off with last year's Super Bowl. And when you load up the game, for the very first time, it just tosses you in that game. And it doesn't, for long-time Madden players, I'm sure that was just like a whatever, isn't this a fun experience? For somebody who was hopping back in after all these years, I was just like, yeah, please get me out of this. I don't want to, I don't know what's going on, and they just tackled the shit out of me. Please get me out of this.
See, I wasn't a fan.
It wasn't like it doesn't offer it again. And I was a little if I had gotten back into the swing of things, with a couple of exhibition games and then had the opportunity to play that again, I think I would have been okay. But, yeah, I kind of wish it didn't automatically just, bloop, there you go. But of course, that's not even something that's being oh, don't buy Madden. No, it's just a weird design choice. I mean, should we get to the point of $60 you got to buy it or not? Or
no, I was gonna say I had fun with the whole My Madden team thing where you're able to open card packs and draft your own team. I'm not a fan of the whole use real money to buy this stuff. I know that that's where they make their bank, and it's going to make tons of money for them, but I'm probably not going to spend any on it. I'm just not into that stuff. But I appreciate that I could have Lamar Jackson on the Steelers and piss off my buddy Big Adam because he's a diehard Ravens fan, and it makes him sad.
That's fair.
Yeah, I had to bring that up. But
there's a lot of different modes for it. I didn't get to explore everything, but I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, I'll be honest.
It's a big game, and there's a lot to do. It's why it's the gold standard of football games every year.
Yeah, and
obviously,
for all the talk, because there have been, this is probably 4 or 5 years ago, but everyone was like, "Oh, Madden's really bad this year," blah 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 blah. Honestly, it felt great. It was a lot of fun, and yeah,
it might be because we're coming into this with fresh eyes and we don't have our opinions clouded by years of past games, because obviously we're not big into the sports ball stuff.
Right.
I watch it, but I don't really play it that much. That's why I play on arcade difficulty. But coming into this game, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm playing it daily, trying to get some games in and progress my season and get a couple more achievements, because there's a punch card to earn achievements in this game.
Yeah. And to be fair though, Joe, did you initially want to play this?
Not really, no. When the option for the review came in, I asked you if you were interested. We ended up getting a Series X code, which you couldn't use, so I had to jump into it. You're basically playing off the EA trial. So,
which I'll be honest, if it weren't for the fact that I'm a little hard up for money right now, I'd actually consider going off and purchasing this for $60.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So if you already like Madden, obviously you're probably already purchasing this and not even listening to us. If you were kind of on the fence about it, I will recommend it. And at $60, this, for as much of a cheap ass as I usually am, I'm okay with purchasing this brand new.
Wow. Which is shocking coming from you.
Yeah, there are very few games that I recommend day one.
No.
and this is honestly one of them.
As for the extra $10 for the Series X or PS5 version, that's going to come down to preference. They do sell a cross-generational Ultimate Edition that has both versions, but they are separate editions. So keep that in mind when you purchase. Make sure you buy the right version.
Oh wait, that's never mind. That was a dumb question because you got the Xbox. I was originally going to ask if is like the Xbox Series X version coming later, and then I remembered, that's what you reviewed. So never mind. Because I know that there was one. I think it was NBA 2K something, or last year's NBA 2K 21, whatever.
I don't know.
I think that one, the Xbox Series X one, launched like a month later or something like that. Like you couldn't. I don't know. It was something. There was some sports game that did that, but whatever. I digress.
Carnage pointing out that the Series X actually has some additional achievements in the game. I know they have something for the whole low throwing, which is new to the game. There's a couple feature exclusive stuff that's in the Series X and S version and the PS5 version that's not in the Xbox One. It's going to come down to preference if you want to pay the extra $10 for it. Visually, I think it looks stunning. Load times were super snappy on the Series X.
A little slow on Xbox One, but it didn't feel like unusual for the game of that size. Going back to, there was one thing I wanted to discuss. Like, holy shit, the amount of announcing in this game. Like, holy crap! Like, I can't imagine just the two guys, how many lines they had to record for all this kind of stuff, or if it's just some sort of computer program that just did.
No, I'm pretty sure they recorded all of that stuff because I was impressed with it in the show as well, where how many situational dialogue options there are in the game. It's really impressive. It reminded me of Hades, where I just always heard something new in the game.
Yeah, I was really surprised because back at 06, 07, there was a significant amount of voiceover, but you would definitely hear some repeating lines and stuff like that. This one, I never heard anything get repeated, and it's just I was blown away with, again, the graphics and the sound in this thing.
All right,
gameplay was tight. Friggin' buy it.
Cool. All right, next game to talk about is Jessika, developed by Tritrie Games, published by SML Entertainment, released August 19th on the Switch for $14.99. Jessika committed suicide, and it's up to you to find out why she did what she did by prying into her digital past. What at first seems to be a job like any other quickly develops into a dark drama with twists and turns. Jacob, tell us about Jessika.
So first off, there should be a content warning for this game, because it does involve suicide. It does also involve sexual assault. I'm trying not to give away any of the plot, but
racism.
Yes, I was about to say hate crimes, but yes, racism. So
I already reviewed this once before, and so I knew what you were about to fuss about.
Well, no, I'm not fussing about it at all. It's a heavy game, for first off, and so I would like to say, and the game does have a little warning message ahead of time, and throughout the game you do receive, or I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but during the game you do receive messages from anonymous sources that say hey, if you're feeling down and you feel you shouldn't be alive anymore, here are some resources for you. Here are people that will always they will always pick up the phone. They are always available by text. You can always reach them at this website, stuff like that. It does pop up through the game as a reminder, because this is it's some dark shit, so just getting that out of the way. Okay.
Now, it is M-rated, so it's definitely not for the younger crowd. So.
Right. And I had watched the trailer when you asked me if I wanted to review this game, and I was like, oh, it's an FMV game. Okay, yeah, whatever. So when I fired this game up, I was kind of blindsided with that, even though the trailer does kind of line that out. So anyways, if you've ever seen the Robin Williams movie, The Final Cut, it kind of follows that kind of story set up. You're this person who, it's set present day, near future-ish, but after a person has passed away, there are these people who, for a fee, will help family members get some semblance of closure by helping them get access to the person's electronic files. I mean, it could just be like, hey, I need Dad's Netflix account password. It could be that. It could be like, hey, I need this person's photos. Or could you unlock this electronic diary? Like, we need to know what was going on in their heads, that kind of stuff. And so you're approached by Jessica's father, who hands over these hard drives to you, or you're given access to these hard drives. And he's pretty much just like, my daughter died. She killed herself, and I need to know why and what happened with it. And as you're going through the game, you pretty much have to watch these videos. Some of them which are unlocked immediately, and the game transcribes what she's saying for you. And you have to use little keywords in each one, which would be called metadata, to search for other files and find out that they exist. But also, the more files that you search for and the more files that you view, you unlock more files as you progress through the game. And so you're learning more about Jessica's life as you go through it. Now, there is a there is a specific way that you're supposed to go through all the files, and I didn't realize that when I first started. And so I was doing brute force searches with metadata. Like, I was searching in one, let's say she mentions summer in one of the videos. I would search summer, fall, winter, spring. If she mentioned mom, in a video, I was searching dad, father, mother, sister, brother, sibling. I was doing all this sort of stuff. And so I was unlocking all of these files, some of them earlier than I should have. And so the narrative got a little bit messed up because I was having conversations before they should have happened. It didn't happen too frequently, thankfully, but it was a little odd. Not that it's ruined the gameplay experience for me. It's just something that I noticed. And it's just you're watching her life go to crap, and because of some of the areas that I've been on the internet, I've seen this kind of stuff, and I've seen where this road leads to, and it's just they did their research for this. And it's not fun. I mean, the game. I don't know how to describe this game as fun, because it's heavy stuff. It plays well, and I never really had anything wrong with the gameplay, and it's immersive, and I was hooked the whole entire time that I was playing it. And it's just, it's some heavy shit, and they really did a good job on this. Literally my only issue is that with the Nintendo Switch version of it, if you don't remember to move the cursor while you're searching through the metadata, sometimes the video will start playing over and over again, and it's just that got annoying. But 90% of the time, that was kind of my fault. But it was still I wish I didn't have to keep moving the cursor all over the place manually to get stuff done. I kind of feel like this would have been better played on a laptop if you're going to go with a more immersive experience. But on the Switch, it was fine. If this came to Xbox, I would definitely play it again. But Switch, it feels fine. And it's just, it's...
Call, anything you want to add?
It's some heavy shit. I don't really know how else to go about it.
It definitely haunts you, and it definitely stays with you. This is one of those where I would have happily played it again, but when we got it and I saw it was on the Switch, I knew the content of it, and I was like, oh, I can't put that on my kids' Switch. So, that's definitely something that you need to take into consideration if you're going to pick it up. Also, if you're looking to stream it, she throws out the hard N-word.
Yeah.
And that I audibly gasped because I was streaming it and I was not expecting it to take that turn.
Jeez.
So that's definitely something to be prepared for.
Yeah, this is not the feel good game of the year.
No.
Well, it's $15. What do you say?
Absolutely. I mean, as I said, go in there understanding the content warnings with it. And just understand, like, you are not going, the world is not going to be sunshine and rainbows when you turn off the game. It's a darkly complex game, but I definitely recommend checking it out. Side note, I would just like to say, going back with, like, the character's job and stuff like that. So essentially what you're doing with this is that you're going to hand over all of the person's files to the family anyway, but they also want you to make like a personal file of, like, this is who Jessika was, and this is, like, how we want to remember Jessika by, and all this other kind of stuff. And funnily enough, like, that's actually what my wife does. She's an archivist. And so, like, a lot of the times you have to, you're sifting through all these historical documents and you're trying to figure out, like, what's important and what's worth keeping and what kind of story do you want to tell with this event or this person's, life and all this other kind of stuff. And she popped down and I was explaining the game to her and she's like, so you're an archivist? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess. She's like, so are you enjoying this? And I'm like, well, I mean, not really the subject matter, but yeah, I'm enjoying playing the game and all. And she's like, okay, well, you're in the wrong field. You should just go off and be an archivist. I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. Like, you could be doing this 8 hours a day and getting paid for it. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah, so I discovered the vocation I should be doing by playing this game.
Good times. All right, well, that's it for you. I guess we'll let you get going.
Woo! Time to play next week's games.
Yay!
Yay!
Hey, get out of here.
All right, bye.
Next game to talk about is called Greak Memories of Azur, developed by Navegante Entertainment, published by Team 17, released August 17th on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, Switch, and PC for $19.99. Greak Memories of Azur is a side-scrolling single-player game with hand-drawn animations. You will take the role of three siblings, Greak, Adara, and Raidel, to guide them through the lands of Azur. Alternate control between them and use their unique abilities to escape from the Urlog invasion. Cole, tell us about your time with Greak Memories of Azur.
I'm so hyper aware of the word unique now, and it stresses me out.
I know, right? Like when Nathan said that there's three unique characters you could start and then 4 unique characters you could pick up.
I was like, please stop.
Like, oh, I have to drink so much. Anyway, Greak is unique. Tell us about unique Greak.
Oh my God, you're killing me. This is a gorgeous game. The hand-drawn illustrations, everything about the character design, the world design, it's stunning and it really stands out and sticks with you. It's a gorgeous game. Gameplay wise, I feel like it kind of falls into that Hollow Knight type of gameplay. Maybe a little Ori-ish, but like if Ori cranked the difficulty to 700, right? And that's where I'm gonna fuss about Greak the most, is that it was just unnecessarily difficult. There are no difficulty setting options, and there are there's even an achievement for beating the game and only saving 5 times. When you start the game, you only have, I want to say it's 4 if I remember correctly. It might be 5, but I'm pretty sure it's 4, and then I just had upgrades later on. But you only have a few hit points, and anything that hits you is going to take off 1 whole hit point. You can find items to cook with for health, but your backpack is so limited that half the time I couldn't even carry all the ingredients I needed for a recipe, and recipes only have 3 ingredients in them. The backpack only has 4 slots, and eventually at one point a quest gives you elixir bottles that you have to carry around, so that takes up 1, and you're like, come on, I can't carry shit. It's so frustrating. And then to add insult to injury, you get killed. And if you die, I think it's 3 times that it was, then it gives you a game over. And there's no indication the first time that that's a thing. It's just that, oh, you died. Do you want to continue? And you click yes. And then you say, okay, you died. Do you want to continue? And, no, I'm sorry. When you die the first 2 times, it just respawns you back where you were. Like there's a checkpoint, right? But then when you die the 3rd time, it says, do you want to continue? And if you say yes, it takes you back to your last save point. Remember that achievement that said don't save more than 5 times?
Yeah.
That's gross. Let's not do that. Let's not punish people for needing help. That's a big pet peeve of mine, and I don't like it. I eventually just had to give up because you can go a long way and then just get completely set back. And if that happens, you don't have any option for like skipping dialogue. So everything that you've done since your last save, any quests you've completed, any items you've picked up, any new recipes you've discovered, any upgrades you've earned, you're back at those. And I would rather see actual difficulty options. If you're going to put the saves in there, let people use them. Don't punish them for them. Or if you want to make it a hardcore thing, make it its own separate thing, and then just have an easy mode where you die and just continue. That's what I would far rather see. Because obviously the mechanic for that is there, right? Because you can do it twice, and it's not until the 3rd time that it punishes you.
I mean, to be fair, you can save as much as you want. You're just going after an achievement.
That's not necessarily true. Because the save stones you can't save wherever you want. You have to save where the save stones are. So if you die for the 3rd time right at a save stone before you can hit it, you're back to the last save. Even if you are saving at every one you come to. So you're still going to lose all your progress.
Yeah, I just think fussing about the achievement isn't fair.
No, I'm not,
it's an
though.
achievement.
I know. I only brought up the achievement earlier. Now I'm saying, hey, even still, saving isn't sufficient because if you die the 3rd time before you get to that save stone, you're still fucked and have to go all the way back and do it all again.
No.
And that's excessive. It's just constantly punishing you for no reward. There's no permanent upgrade for your progress. You're literally just lost and back at wherever you were. So you got to watch all the cutscenes, all the conversations again. You can't skip through them. You got to get all the quests again. If you've done a side quest, you got to, reclaim it and do it again. It's just unnecessarily difficult for no good reason. The puzzles are really good. The level design is really good. But it loses you because it forces you to just stay in an area over and over with no progression. Even if I got really good at, this is where all the enemies are and I can just blow through it, the next time I hit the next little step where there's an enemy I'm not expecting, I'm starting over again. And there's a point where you just go, fuck it, I'm so tired of playing this one area. I want to see the rest of the game.
Yeah, having to restart completely isn't ever fun.
And it's like, I don't understand why developers want to do that. Why do you want to lock this beautiful and creative and intelligently designed world you've created behind this false sense of difficulty? It just, it doesn't benefit your game. What I'm saying is I want to play more of this game and I can't because I'm just so frustrated with trying to progress in it. I don't feel like anything I do actually gets me anywhere. Even when I complete a quest, I have to go back and do it again because I'm inevitably going to die. And so it's just it's more frustration than it's worth.
I gotta admit, this isn't the complaint I expected from you out of this game.
What did you think I was going to complain about?
Holding the triggers.
There is a toggle for it. You can set it to toggle.
That's good. I didn't notice that.
So I was like, I was trying to think. I was like, when was I holding the triggers? And it wasn't because I toggled it.
I didn't realize there was a toggle in the game. So, that's good.
If you scroll down in the settings, there's a lot more there. That's kind of one of those too. Like that scroll bar could be a little more obvious so that you could see that you had more options. Because there's definitely extra settings down there and being able to toggle things like that. So yeah, that was why it didn't bother me because I had changed it. I saw that shit fast.
Well, $20 for Greak. What are you thinking?
You gotta be one of those people who has just the patience of Job to play a game like this. And I'm sorry that I'm not. I don't think that it makes it a bad game per se. Like I said, everything else about it is there. And it stands. It's just that I can't go see it because I'm stuck every time I try to do anything. So I don't know. I think I'm going to let it fall as a try it because I appreciate what it is. I just wish it were more accessible.
No. All right, well, next game to talk about is called Button City, developed and published by Subliminal, released August 10th on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, Switch, and PC for $19.99. Button City is a colorful, low-poly narrative adventure game about a fox and his friends banding together to save their local arcade, explore a diorama world, play exciting arcade games, complete quirky quests, and meet cute animal friends. Cole, tell us about Button City.
I'm going to be honest, low-poly art's not my favorite. I don't dislike it as much as voxel, but there are still times, especially with a game that's as adorable as Button City, where I'm like, man, I would have liked to have seen really fully fleshed out character models because these guys are adorable. The worlds and like the levels themselves are literally split into diorama levels, right? So you can press B to fast travel anywhere, and then they're just kind of stacked. And it reminded me of Polly Pocket villages that I used to play with as a kid. Sometimes my kids still play with Polly Pocket. And like, there's just these little neatly stacked little dioramas, and you can go up and down and choose which one. And it tells you, this is the mini mart, this is the arcade, this is your home. And then you get to pick which one you're going to go and interact with. Which I love. That's adorable. Gameplay wise, you're a shy little fox who's trying to make friends, and everybody's super into this game called Goba Bots. I can't pronounce it. Goba Bots. It's one of those that's easier to read than say. But everybody loves this game, and there's a tournament. Everybody's trying to get the gold Goba bot that's at the arcade. Only the winner of the tournament can have it. And you are part of a team that is down one player. So they decide they're going to take you on and train you even though you've never heard about the game. They're going against the tough fluffs. Okay? Because everything is adorable, even the assholes in this game. And the tough fluffs are assholes. They will tell you that you are not good enough at the game, and they will try to thwart your advances in every kind of way to make any kind of progress and get better. There is an adorable little panda named Lavender who is on your team, and she's always just trying to find opportunities to show you her art. She's great. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, it's me. And then you also have another character in your team who I adore, even though she's like kind of a snarky smartass. There's a little rabbit named Chive, and Chive is in a wheelchair. And she's technically inclined. So like some of your missions with Chive will be to go to the recycling center and just get tech parts so that you can help her modify a game at the arcade to be accessible because she can't use the pedals. And so she takes the parts that you get for her and she makes a handbrake system for the arcade game so she can play it. I love that they worked that whole storyline in. We talk so much about accessibility in games, but we never see actual games talk about the accessibility. And for that to be there was just like, holy shit, that was cool. Thank you for that. if I have to fuss about anything about Button City, other than it being low poly, I would say that the mini game, the Gobobot game that you have to play for what are essentially your boss battles, right, against the tough fluffs, it's not the most fleshed out mini game. There are better mini games that you can play in the arcade just freely than the Gobobots game that everybody supposedly loves. And the whole premise with the Gobobots game is that there's this square arena and there are disappearing bridges in the middle, and then there's like this big blender in the middle, and you have to go around and collect fruit from trees and throw it in the blender. And ever how many fruit you get in there, it's how many points you have. But the enemies can kill you, make you drop your fruit, take your fruit, and then they get to throw it in. It's fine, and I give them credit for like coming up with so many different Gobobot characters and abilities and everything for them. But I could have gone the whole game and not played Gobobots and been fine. Like if they had replaced Gobobots with the Revolution Racing game that you play, I'd have been happier. Revolution Racing was great. And it's just this little mini game that you walk up to in the arcade and press play. And I'm like, why is this the good one? There's also a rhythm game. I do have beef with the rhythm game because for whatever reason, they have given the icons in the rhythm game. I assume this may have something to do with maybe how buttons map on different consoles or something to try to avoid it. So rather than using the face buttons, they've used the D-pad. Or maybe it's because they're trying to like mimic Dance Dance Revolution with it. So it's got the up, down, left, right going for it.
Okay.
The problem is that in the game itself, instead of using arrows, up, left, down, right, they use icons. And so at the very beginning, when you first start the pixel game or the rhythm game, it'll tell you, oh, the heart icon is one direction, the moon icon is another direction. I don't remember that shit. Like, it would be so much easier to just load the game and have it be arrows.
No.
Why give me this weird cryptic legend that I cannot memorize that quickly and then throw me into the game? I don't understand the design choice there. It looks adorable, but I can't play it.
Fair.
You know, I just don't, my memory don't work like that. And that's a damn shame. But as far as the game as a whole goes, I had a lot of fun. It's super adorable. Number 3 saw me playing it, and she was like, "Can I play?" And I was like, "Yes." So I would say that maybe even though I fuss as an adult that Gobobots was kind of dull, she enjoyed it a lot more. And so maybe it's more suitable for a younger audience, and maybe they're going to enjoy it a little more than an adult might.
I didn't get to play this one. This one is on my wish list. I want to pick this one up. So I want to know, $20, is it worth it?
Yeah, I definitely think it's worth it. It's adorable. There's a shit ton of mini games. The mini games are kind of better than the actual game you're supposed to play, but it's fine. Sometimes that just happens. Also, you get to have a lemonade stand, and that's fun. I didn't even get to bring up the lemonade stand. I got so sidetracked on everything else. I got so tickled by the lemonade stand.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a whole mini game. You got to slice the lemons and everything.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, that's adorable.
All right, I guess I'm spending $20 on it. Next game to talk about is called Shakes on a Plane, developed by Who Games, published by SML Entertainment, released August 13th on Xbox One, Switch, PS4, and PC for $19.99. Shakes on a Plane is a chaotic co-op shaking game for 1 to 4 players, flying on various planes with your flight crew. Serve up a variety of tasty shakes, burgers, fries, and many more dishes before the plane lands on the airport. Your passengers rate your services. Cole, tell us about Shakes on a Plane.
I was doing really good really early on, and then not as good later on. So if you've ever played the old game Diner Dash, man, I fucking love Diner Dash. This is very similar in concept. So I'm kind of sold right off the jump, right? I like games where I'm trying to put together SPs, dart them out to people, and get a high score. I don't know why. Those games just resonate with me for whatever reason. And so Shakes on a Plane is like already ticking boxes right out of the gate. It's got some promise here. Unfortunately, you start the game up and you discover that you have a single player mode, but even when you're playing single player, they've gone the old Overcooked route of making you control 2 characters, even when you're alone. But they don't give you the option of controlling them with different sides of the controller like Overcooked did. Instead, you have to press B to swap between them. So there's not even any good reason to have 2 characters, because when you're not controlling the one, it just stands there. And if the plane's shaking around, it doesn't even matter where you left it standing at, because it's just going to slide around with wherever the plane sends it. So it got to a point where I was just like, I'm pretending the second character's not there. What's the point? It's just a pain in my ass, and I'm quicker just walking back and forth. I think ideally they mean for it to be a little quicker to leave one in like high traffic areas where you're gonna be, cooking, like setting the burgers to fry or preparing coffee or whatever. But it just doesn't really pan out in practice. The game also kind of just throws you in without too much explanation. It'll give you a little pop-up in the beginning that, here's how you make the food for this level or what have you, which is fine. But it also doesn't explain that, like, you're supposed to be doing other things in addition to just preparing the meals. And that caught me off guard. Like, the first time I accidentally picked up a passenger that was wandering around and realized that I was supposed to also be taking the passengers back to their seats, especially if they were kids, because they would take off with my food. I would have liked the tip that shit was going to happen and not just accidentally clicked on a passenger. Also, the clicking is my other beef. I can't remember if there were, I don't think there were. I think the only option in the settings was like to change the language, and that's why I was like, because to interact with things you have to press X. And usually in a game like this, my instinct is to go for A to interact with things. And I kept standing there pressing A on shit the whole time I was playing. And then I would sit and go, why isn't it fucking picking it? Oh, yeah, X. And then I'd have to press X. And by that point, like, the dude would already be mad at me and not even want a hamburger anymore. I played a lot better in 2-player. I will say that. I didn't play all the way up to 4, but you can. I do always think that games like this, especially if they're going to force that second character being in the game with you, being there, I'd so much prefer to see like multiplayer options for something like that. But I understand that that's a lot to ask for as well. So I'm not going to like hold it against it, but man, this game would really benefit from some multiplayer. It is what it is. But yeah, the level designs were good. I just think the difficulty ramps up a whole lot without there being enough like of a tutorial or a working like guide system to let you know how you should be interacting with things. The little mini video in the beginning is helpful, but it's often short and doesn't even show you the things you actually need to know.
Well, $20. What do you say?
I give it a try it. I think if you've got somebody to play it with, then you're going to be a lot happier than if you're just trying to play it by yourself.
Yeah. All right. Next game is Zoffice, developed by Ikon Games and Sarah Graves, published by Ikon Games. Released August 27th on Xbox One and Windows 10 for $4.99. It is not a cross-buy title. Separate games, separate achievement lists. You know how that goes. Hey, thanks so much for applying to work with us here at Zoffice. I'm Paige, and I can't wait to show you around. Oh, what is Zoffice?
Did you play Peepaw's Farm?
Yes.
And think, boy, I'd like to do this, but in a zombie apocalypse. Because that's what they did with Zoffice. And you know what? I don't hate it. It's a pretty good a pretty good start, right? The humor is definitely there. I love the fact that you start to the whole thing is Paige like turning up at the office for the day, right? And so the first thing she has to do is check in with the security guard, and you kind of realize that like you don't look too good. You know? And then the next step is to help with generators, and then you've got to find something to feed the zombie fish, and I'm going to tell you, he don't want fish flakes, okay? And then you've got a crazy employee working with you who has a best friend that's a mannequin, and it's at the mannequin's birthday, and you got to help like find a gift for the mannequin in the zombie apocalypse, but also corporate is coming, and you got to put on a good show for corporate, or like you're gonna get fired. It's all very weird because it's a zombie game where you're not actually fighting with the zombies, and I give them credit for that. It's very ho-hum slice of life, but in a really weird set of extenuating circumstances, right? And I'm down for it. I had a good time. I really enjoyed it. You can complete it quickly. If you use a guide, there's that whole speedrun achievement. I can't remember if it's 5 minutes or 15 minutes. I don't remember. I didn't do the speedrun achievement. I did it for People's Farm. This time I'm just like, look, I just want to play the zombie game.
Carnage says 5 minutes.
It is 5 minutes. I couldn't remember.
I hate speedrun achievements.
I hate it because not only is it a speedrun achievement, they want you to get every other achievement
in one run. Yeah.
Yeah. And like without a guide, you ain't doing that shit. I did the whole like.
Well, not on your first playthrough. On your second playthrough, yeah.
Yeah. Even then, I think you would probably still need a guide just to be able to do it in a timely manner. Yeah, because this world is much, much larger than People's Farm was. It's still fairly condensed, but it is larger, and you don't walk all that fast for somebody in an apocalypse. I'm just saying.
No.
You're a little too lackadaisical about what's going on. You're just like, just another day at the office.
The office.
Yeah. So I give it credit though. I really enjoyed it. I just got tickled by all the humor in it, and I thought it was really well executed, and I had fun.
Cool. $5 your verdict?
Yeah, buy it. It's not even fuck it, why not? It's just buy it. Like it's good. It deserves your time. Fuck speedrun achievements though. Ikon really needs to quit with that shit. That's not up my alley, y'all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the speedrun stuff either.
No.
Well, Aki is unavailable, so I'm guessing her Skype crashed.
Yay!
So we get to bullshit for another couple of minutes.
Fantastic.
It was a fun interview we had.
It was a good interview.
Nathan is good peoples. I like having him on.
I do enjoy when Nathan comes to visit.
You know who I don't like having on?
Jacob? Aki?
Yeah. Aki, how are you doing?
I'm still alive, and it didn't crash this time. I preemptively shut it down and turned it back on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think I'm proud of you.
Cool. You got 2 games to talk about. You ready?
No, but I don't think that's going to stop you from doing it anyway, so let's go.
All right. First, The Seed of Life, developed by MadLight, published by Leonardo Interactive. Released August 11th on Steam for $24.99. Seed of Life is an epic adventure game about the persistence of life. You're Cora, the last known survivor of Lumia, a dying planet. Your only hope to save your homeland is to activate the Seed of Life and rekindle the sun once again. Will you be the light that conquers the darkness? Aki, I don't think you're anyone's light, are you?
Probably not.
You seem pretty dark.
Yeah.
How's Seed of Life?
It's really good. You play as Cora, and I have no idea how old she's supposed to be, but she's going around trying to find a seed of life that's supposed to bring her planet back to life by somehow repairing the sun. It doesn't really explain how any of that works. Probably because, I don't know, she's supposed to be a kid, I guess. So that's a little above her pay grade. And aliens have apparently come and effectively conquered the planet and started stealing its life force. And I assume people, because you don't find any fucking people either on the planet. And it all comes from these weird plants called Lumia seeds, which are somewhat different from the seed of life. How? I have no idea, because they all produce Lumia, which is the mystical power of the planet, I guess. And apparently one of the aliens has decided to help you after they've nearly completely destroyed the planet by stealing all of the resources via Lumia. And they give you access to superpowers, basically, that are powered by Lumia. So now you have to go steal your own planet's life source energy to heal your planet's life. You don't think too hard on the plot. It's not going to do you any good. But lots of the game is you just finding things, really, because you have to find and extract Lumia from all these plants that you find throughout the levels, and you can use that to power your different abilities as you gain them, because you have to activate these special petals, is what she calls them. I don't have any other word for them, so I'll just go with petals. And occasionally they give you this thing that you can pick up that gives you a superpower that you can activate whenever. Like one of the first ones lets you see things that are invisible to the naked eye. So you can use that to jump on those items because they only exist when that power is activated. So you can get around to areas that you otherwise couldn't. Some of the other ones are the ability to run really quick because you're slow as shit. The ability to regenerate your health, things like that. You can activate as many of them as at once as you want, which is pretty cool. But you don't fight any enemies in this because all the enemies are little robots that are just there to steal Lumina. And if you get close to them, they will try to steal your Lumina because that is what powers everything, and they'll steal your life force too. So yay! They're just the greatest little bastards on the planet. And they're not the only bad things on the planet, because there's also, creatures on the planet that feed off of the planet's life energy itself that you have to worry about and things like that. But due to, I don't know how the sun comes into anything here. The sun is dying, and it's because they're stripping the planet of its resources, and I don't get it. There's no connection there. But somehow when your planet gets better, so does the sun. It is what it is. I don't know. But the enemies are taking all of it and destroying everything. So yay! And you have to go find this, I guess, gigantic plant is what it's supposed to be. I'm not quite sure. It looks like a giant flower, so I'm going to say it's a plant, whatever. You have to activate it to heal the sun, which heals your planet. Again, doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's a nice little platforming game more than anything. It gets kind of hard sometimes, though, because you have to unlock security gates on occasion, which just requires you to walk up to something and basically take an item off of it, and it shuts the gate off. But you use those to power up the petals to gain your abilities. And some of these gates are hard to get to because they're in dangerous areas that just constantly take away your health and stuff. Yeah, that's really about it for the game. The voice acting's really good. Really, it's mostly just Cora talking to herself. She has a lovely voice. You do also hear from Cora's grandfather and the alien that decides to help you. But both of them talk very little. It's mostly just Cora talking to herself.
It's a good-looking game, too.
Yeah, it's very pretty. It's cute. it runs my computer harder than I thought it would. But
well, it's $24.99. What do you think of it?
I'm down for it. It'll probably take you around 6 to 8 hours to finish. And it's really cute. I like it. So I'm all for it.
And if you're on the fence, there's a demo. So grab the demo. All right, final game to talk about is Murder Mystery Machine, developed by Blazing Griffin, published by Microids, released August 25th on Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and PC for $19.99. Join the district crime attorney in this isometric modern noir deduction thriller. Explore crime scenes and complex dioramas, organize your evidence effectively, and blur the lines between right and wrong to present your case. Do you have what it takes to be a real detective? Aki, are you a real detective?
Fuck no. All I learned from this is I'm as dumb as a fucking rock. So when we brought this up, I was like, oh, it's going to be like Sherlock Holmes games. I love those. Those are fun. This is so much fucking harder. Oh my God. I was expecting this to be like Sherlock, but with dioramas. I was like, that sounds cute. Cool. I'm down for that. It is with dioramas, not like Sherlock Holmes, though. Sherlock Holmes is so much easier. In this, you play as a woman who just becomes a detective. The very first case you play in the game is her very first case. She's in the shitty area of the building where people go because their careers suck. And that's where she starts off. So yay, fun! And her partner is a jaded guy who was stuck there because they decided they didn't like him, I guess. Because he's the one who tells you, no, you don't want to start here. This is where people's dreams die, right here. Don't be here. And your character's like, but I was hired for here. It's like, yeah, I just came off the street. I was like, oh, great. I'm fucked. In this, every room in this game is a diorama, and you can use the trigger buttons to shift it around one direction or the other, and you can spin it all the way around, obviously, which allows you to see, I think it's 2 walls at a time you get to view every time you flip it. And in it, you can find evidence for stuff, like the very first area, the tutorial area, there's a dead guy, and you go and inspect him, and then there's a gun, and you go and inspect it, and it's like, you did so well! I'm like, yay! This will be easy! And then the very next level, it is very not. Other than just that, you also look around for other pieces of evidence. Not all of it is actually important to what's going on, as a whole, but lots of it can give you extra information, which can become important later. There's also you can have conversations in this, which it happened in the very next level, with both your partner and with suspects, people that know the victims, things like that. The hard part of this game comes in the evidence area. Certain pieces of evidence can be linked together to create new pieces of information that you can ask about. Except for every piece of evidence can connect to literally every other piece of evidence all at once. And it doesn't tell you if you're right or wrong. It just says, have at thee. And you have to figure it out. But the correct items have to be connected together, and only together, in order for that conversation piece to show up. And you don't necessarily know you need the conversation piece all the time. And it gets very complicated that way because you have to connect different pieces of evidence together to get more complex questions, to figure things out. And the tutorial does not really help you with that at all. And I was like, okay, I know the inconsistencies between some of the statements here. How do I get my character to ask it? And it took forever, and I am dumb, and it is so hard to figure out, and it just brought the game to a standstill, because I'm like, I know I have a question here, I know what I want my character to fucking ask. Why can't I figure out the right pieces of evidence to make her ask the fucking question that I need to ask. And the tutorial just does not do it very, very good. It doesn't help you get into the mindset to do this correctly. Because in the tutorial, it has 2 pieces of evidence, and it says, here, link these, and you can ask a question. But there's only 2 pieces of evidence in there. Whereas then you go into the level where it actually has that, and there's like 20-something pieces of evidence before that ever comes up. And it's like, how do I know what I'm supposed to connect now? Like this, all of this makes sense to connect to each other, but only 2 things need to be connected. And 2 things have to be connected. And then you can ask the question. Any more than that, and you're a dumb fuck. And I am a dumb fuck. So, yeah, it's very complicated at that part. Like, the rest of the game is great. That part is a little convoluted, a little more convoluted than necessary. I'd rather just be able to connect things that seem like they might be the right thing instead of very specifically the right thing. Because it's like, for instance, the character said, no one knew this character was home at this time because he was supposed to be somewhere else. And then she also mentioned another question that his wife always calls and asks where the fuck he is, because he's a workaholic. And each part of that had like 5 pieces of evidence with each one that came off. And it's like, I know somehow these 2 things need to be connected to know if she asked if he was fucking home. Because she just said, no one knows. And then she said, but his wife always calls. Does she know? That's what I was trying to figure out. And it took forever because I'm stupid. Luckily, there is a hint thing. The hints, if there's someone to talk to, it'll zoom in on who you're supposed to talk to. If there isn't, it'll go into the evidence board and it'll flash one piece of evidence a couple times and the other piece of evidence a couple times that you have to connect. Problem is, when you get a bunch of evidence, like let's say, I don't know, 15, 20 pieces of fucking evidence, it gets really small. It's very hard to see what's flashing and where. And then you have to click hint again and again and again in hopes that you can find both of them and connect them.
Sounds like you had a frustrating time with this one.
Yeah, it was very frustrating. Oh. I was really disappointed because I was so excited for this, and then I was like, I'm just too dumb for this. I'm just way too stupid to play this game.
Well, $20, we need a verdict.
I say it's an tentative try it. I think if you like the Sherlock type games, if you like to think real hard on stuff, this will probably be up your alley. For everyone else, maybe, maybe not. It'll be a hit or miss for you. So I think it's a good try it, maybe.
Cool. All right, we're done.
Woohoo!
All right, fuck out of here. I'm done with this shit.
I think it took me less than 10 minutes to talk about 2 games.
Good. I like when we keep them short.
Or Jacob just needs to learn how I do things, and he'll be okay.
Oh, just wait. I'm gonna find the times and give them to you exactly how long they were. And if they're over 10 minutes, you're fired.
God, I'm sure I've done some. I know I've done some that were over 10 minutes. I'm 100% sure of it. But they were good.
I'm about to have more time for camping.
All right, moving on. We got one final game to talk about. Aki, Cole, we're going to let you go because CJ's here. CJ, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Yay. I'm not sick at all. Ooh-wee.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I got a PlayStation 5 order finally in.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I actually managed to snag one. So, yeah, I'm doing great. I just got to wait 3 weeks for it to show up.
Nice. You have a series?
Yeah, I got that nice. Pre-ordered, luckily. So I had that thing like 3 weeks after it came out because I was one of the few people that got that Amazon delay, which sucked. I was so sad. But, oh, well, I got it. I didn't cancel the pre-order, which would have been dumb.
Well, you got them both, so you're set.
Yeah, exactly. Now I can play anything and everything.
And instead, you're going to play $10 indie games.
That's probably that's most of what I play anyway. Either that or weird Xbox 360 games.
That's what next gen is for. But yeah, speaking of $10 indie games, you got one to talk about. Let's get to this. Final game to talk about tonight is called Space Station Sprint, developed and published by Snow Day Software, released August 27th on Xbox One and PC for $9.99. Space Station Sprint is a fast-paced sci-fi first-person shooter. Infiltrate each space station and complete your objective before your escape ship is spotted by the enemy. Use special abilities, find permanent upgrades, time bonuses, collectibles, and secrets through each space station. CJ, tell us about Space Station Sprint.
Well, that is the gist of the gameplay, so I'll cut right to the story aspect. There is very little in the way of story. You basically just get a few still images with text before you're sent off to your first space station. And it basically goes along the lines of your planet has intercepted a transmission from an unknown alien space species that states they're preparing to invade. And then it says that you play as Volt, who's sent to these alien space stations to gather intel and sabotage them before quickly escaping. When you start a mission, you're given a timer that counts down, and if you fail to complete your main objectives and get back to your escape pod before it runs out, you'll fail the mission. The main objectives are always the same, despite having different descriptions. Like, it'll say something like, you got to disable the cooling systems or establish a communication link. But in reality, all you have to do is find and press X on a purple tablet. And that's basically all it is. Throughout each mission, there are side objectives that are as simple as just shooting certain objects, but they reward you with bonus time that'll help you get through the levels. And in the beginning, they seem kind of pointless, but as you progress more and more, they become more and more vital to the mission. Hidden in these missions are also little yellow upgrade tablets that increase your attributes, like increasing your max health, weapon damage, sprint speed, and stuff like that. To help you along your mission, you're equipped with an assault rifle, grenade, and a close-range shock ability, though I found the shockwave ability kind of weird. It doesn't give you any sort of indicator around you. Like in most games, when you activate a pushback ability, like a shield that'll break and push enemies back, you get a little animation that surrounds you. This game doesn't really do that, nor do the enemies really react. Their health bar just goes down, and you like push your gun forward like for a second, and that's about all you get. It took me like half of the game to figure out what the hell the ability even did, because I couldn't tell what was happening. There needs to be like some kind of like electrical burst that comes from you or something so that you can see that your shockwave does something. The only issue I had with the mission structure is that some of the main objectives were just as hidden as the side objectives and upgrades, which really throws off the pacing of a game that's supposed to be fast. There's no indicator of where the main objectives are, meaning you can take a dozen or more attempts on the same level just to figure out where the main objective is. Now, this is only an issue on a few levels, but it makes those levels way more frustrating than the rest. It doesn't help that the purple tablet also blends in with the blue holographic tables, so when they're placed on those, it's damn near impossible to see them. I also thought that the time was a little too forgiving on some levels, where it feels like you weren't really in a rush at all. Once you know where the objectives are, you can complete a majority of the levels with 30 or more seconds left on the clock. And when you consider the fact that most levels give you 60 seconds to 80 seconds, that really doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
And then you consider the fact that side objectives add time. I think the side objectives playing a bigger role by needing the time boost would have made them a little more effective and, up the sense of urgency while not having to hide the main objectives to make the game interesting. It feels like the sense of urgency is just non-existent. Well, for the most part. One of the late levels was frustrating in the moment, but after several attempts and learning the path, it easily became my favorite. You're only given 12 seconds at the start, but you need like 40 seconds to beat the level. This forces you to optimize secondary objectives, and with excellent placement of them, helps elevate this level beyond every other level by a lot. It really is a shame that this is the only level that does it. Instead of frustratingly scanning every square inch trying to find the hidden main objective, you're given an obvious path with a not so obvious solution. The game hints at a possible sequel, and I really hope that there's a bigger focus on these type of levels. Despite some issues with the mission structure, I do think that quite a few of the levels are well designed. While a lot of the levels look the same due to them being all space stations, which you'd expect, they do have unique infrastructure making them stand out from each other. I think this is especially true for levels 10 and 13, which are both fantastic. Level 10 sees you using teleporters to access different floors of a ship and even includes some platforming, which is a risky choice for a FPS game, but actually pays off here. Normally, I'm against throwing in a random platforming section into a first-person shooter, but the jumping in this game translates really well to being a platformer, to a point that I almost think it would have been better if they included more levels like this. And then you have level 13, which does suffer from the mandatory hidden objective issue, but it's still a really well-designed mission. With you go outside on top of the ship, and you have all these little ships that are on it, and you have to explore around them to find the objectives, which is kind of cool. Plus, it's one of the more fun levels to rerun in Mission Select, since once you know where everything is, it's a really nice, winding path. The gameplay can be a little hit or miss, unfortunately. The main issue comes from the controls, which playing on console with a controller can be pretty bad. The button layout is as expected, but the aiming is where things take a turn for the worse. There's no aim assist at all, from what I can tell, and I don't think it needs to be said how important aim assist is when playing an FPS with a controller.
Yeah.
Especially in a game where speed is the main gameplay draw. Having to stop moving to aim at an enemy can kill the pace tremendously. And that is if you actually want to kill the enemies in the first place. They have an overabundance of health, which means it's kind of a waste of time to kill them early in the game. Plus, you aren't awarded any extra time for killing them anyway, which I think would have, at least pushed wanting to kill them a little more and giving a reason to. It's much easier to just quickly slide around them and avoid them while completing the objectives and escaping. Like, you can legitimately just run around them because their projectiles are really slow. So you can just dodge everything they shoot at you. It's kind of funny. And then you press the B button and you slide, so you're ducking, which it seems like they have a problem with verticality. Like, if you're climbing a ladder or something, they kind of get stuck just looking at you, and you can just shoot them from the ladder, which is also funny. So sliding also gives you that advantage of they just don't know how to look down.
Nice.
Now, cool thing they did do with the sliding is that while you're sliding, your fire rate is increased exponentially. So it's like, normally you only fire like boom, 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 boom. But if you're sliding, it's like a fucking rapid fire minigun. And it'll take an enemy out immediately. I will say, despite the lack of an aim assist that really should be there, you do get used to it after a bit of playing, and while I still think it'd be better with it, it's not something that stops the game from being enjoyable. The game's change, geez, my mouth is getting dry.
That's why I'm drinking Mountain Dew.
Well, I have that, but that doesn't really wet your mouth. I got some lemon water. The upgrades changed the game so dramatically that I honestly felt conflicted on how I felt about the game. My initial experiences left me feeling annoyed and frustrated. However, after getting almost every single upgrade, it felt like a completely different game. I originally had complaints of how aiming down sight seemed to miss every shot, but with upgrades I became more accurate, and it starts to act as you'd expect. Obviously, moving while shooting can still be a bit weird, but most of your shots will connect with what you're aiming at. As I said a bit ago, the enemies in the early game had way too much health, but with nearly fully upgraded weapon damage, they do go down pretty easy. I think perhaps meeting in the middle in terms of balance would have made the game a more solid experience the whole way through. Instead of having upgrades, just have your character's stats more in the middle. That would make the game fun from the start while still being fully capable in the end. I don't think that the upgrade system really added anything to the game, and instead subtracted from the enjoyment I had at the beginning. But considering what this game is, I can forgive it for its issues. Snowday's software seems to be just one person, which makes this game pretty impressive. Yes, it has its issues, but it's also got some pretty cool ideas, and I think with some adjustments to the formula, the potential sequel could be even better. Plus, with an update to the controls, the game would be a lot of fun on Xbox. As of right now, it's a little difficult to recommend playing with a controller, but with keyboard and mouse, I'd recommend trying it out. According to the Xbox Store, it does have PC gamepad, whatever that means. I think that means that you can use a keyboard and mouse on Xbox for the game.
I have no clue. I know the one game we covered on the store, it said mouse and keyboard, like explicitly said mouse and keyboard. So I don't know if...
The main reason I think that is because when you look at the control scheme in the game, it lists both key bindings and the controller buttons, which would make you think that
mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, it'd make you think that it supports a mouse and keyboard on Xbox as well. And if that's the case, I totally recommend playing it that way, where you can actually get fine aiming and it feels right. Because like I said, the aiming with no aim assist is really difficult in this game when you're trying to move fast. You basically have to drop everything you're doing just to shoot an enemy. it's also really short. It only took me about an hour and a half for my initial playthrough. And with most of that time being spent just trying to search for hidden main objectives that were frustrating me through some of the levels, I can imagine this game would mostly appeal to people that are into speedrunning and like the learning the path and then optimizing it. I can see you beating this game in about 15 minutes or less if you actually learn the game properly. And it was a bit of a fun experience to learn it. Like I said, I thought some levels were really, really good. I think the hidden main objectives is a bit poor and should just have an indicator and perhaps lower the times a little bit just to make the experience of getting those objectives harder since you're showing where those objectives are.
No.
But even still, at $9.99, I'd say this is a try it. It's still a solid game, and by one person, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds like it's an enjoyable romp.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. Well, that is it for this episode. We made it through. CJ, thanks for being here, doing your thing. Thanks again to Jacob and Aki and Cole for being here, doing their thing. And another big thanks to Nathan Fouts for coming on, chatting with us about Weapon of Choice DX. That is available next week. Give that a pick up. It's only $6. Keep an eye out on the stores. Pick that up. But that is it for this episode. We will end the show with some music from Weapon of Choice DX. And CJ, do you have any final words to end it?
Damn it, I forgot to mention the soundtrack.
Haha.